Hey everybody, welcome back to Near Sanity's Edge. This is Lee, and today I thought that I would tell you a little bit about myself, and while you're doing that, I'm letting you guys look at the beautiful scenery that I get to see every day as from my front porch. Um, we live in the mountains, and it's beautiful here, and so I thought you would enjoy that better than looking at me because I'm not real comfortable in front of the camera. I'm usually the person behind the camera. Um, and I'm saying an awful lot, so forgive me, I'm a little nervous. I've never done anything like this. Um, so to tell you about myself, I am a mom and a wife, and I have 3 kids, and we live in the mountains in the Pacific Northwest, and but that's not really what this channel is about. This channel is about my fights with depression, fibromyalgia, and chronic kidney disease. The chronic kidney disease is new, just within the last year, and so that's new that I had to add to something new I had to add to my list of things that I'm dealing with and everything. So let's go back to the beginning. I think I've had fibromyalgia all my life. I remember hurting a lot when I was growing up. I was one of those kids that woke up in the middle of the night with what they called growing pains, and my dad used to have to rub my legs in order to get them to calm down. When I was 7, I woke up one day and couldn't walk. My mom took me to the doctor and they sent me right to the hospital. I was in the hospital, I think, about 4 or 5 days, and eventually I was able to walk again. I was in a lot of pain, and then it just went away. They diagnosed me with cystic arthritis, which I really cannot find anything on that. I have no idea what that diagnosis means. They told my parents that I may never have any more problems, or I may have problems again. Personally, I think maybe it had to do with fibromyalgia. I think it was a flare-up. And so from that point, all during high school and everything, I had a lot of pains. I had a lot of I just thought it was normal. Um, when I was 27, I hurt my back, and we're not really sure how, but I hurt it, and ended up having a bulging disc, and being diagnosed with degenerative disc disease. And so they told me, oh, take a couple of weeks off, bed rest, take some pain medicine, you'll be okay in a couple, 2-3 weeks. Well, that couple, 2-3 weeks turned into a month, 2 months. Finally, they sent me to, my doctors did not know what was going on, sent me to a psychiatrist telling me that he thought all of this was in my head, and that it was either depression or something worse. Well, I was depressed, but it was not due to, that was not the main cause. I saw the psychiatrist, and she immediately, after talking to me for just a few minutes, says, well, of course you're depressed, you're in pain. And she says, I think you have fibromyalgia. I had never heard of it, had no idea what it was, and back in those days there was barely an internet. There was not as much stuff on the internet in 96, 97 as there is now. She gave me some information and sent me to a rheumatologist who gave me some more information and did say, yes, I do have fibromyalgia. And needless to say, my regular doctor who told me that it was all in my head was no longer my regular doctor. I fired him and found a new doctor who believed in fibromyalgia and was able to help coordinate all my care. So fibromyalgia And from that point on, it was a daily thing. At that point, when I first got diagnosed, I was almost bedridden. I was in so much pain, I could barely walk. I couldn't drive. Um, I did not know what was going to happen, whether I was going to get better, whether I was ever going to be able to have kids, or what. My husband was wonderful. He took care of me. My parents helped take care of me. My in-laws did things for us. I was very blessed to have a strong support system. I had a very strong group of ladies at my church that prayed with me and um, just encouraged me to keep going and to do whatever I needed to do to get healthy. Um, so at that point, I still struggled for another about 3 years, and I was taking a lot of heavy pain medication. I was on muscle relaxers, I was on sleep medication, I was on antidepressants. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you need it, that's what you need. That's what you do. Um, so at that point, about 2 years later, um, I found out that I was pregnant. I stopped all my medicines cold turkey, which in retrospect was probably not a good thing to do, but it scared me because several of them were considered class D medications and could cause birth defects and all that stuff. So I immediately dropped everything, and thankfully the Lord was with me, and I did not have any side effects from just dropping those medications. Um, so when I was pregnant, the pregnancy agreed with me tremendously. All the extra hormones in my body, my fibromyalgia went down to almost nothing. I was feeling so good. I mean, I still had pain, but it was manageable. I could get out of bed, I could do things. I had my first child and my little girl, and then I had then I got pregnant again 3 years later, and with that pregnancy, some of my pain came back. Um, and then 2 years after that, I had my fifth child, and my pain was a little worse with that one. Um, and I also had blood pressure issues, but she was born healthy, and we now have 3 kids. Um, so I have a girl, a boy, and a girl. So after that, I just had ups and downs. I was on we tried all different kinds of pain medicine. We tried all different kinds of muscle relaxers, and finally about 2003, 2006, somewhere. It might have been at 2006, 2007, because I think it was after my youngest was born. Um, some of these other medicine they started fibromyalgia became more mainstream. More people knew about it. Lyrica finally came on the market, which was not a good fit for me. I gained 60 pounds in 2 months, and I still struggle with that weight, with being overweight now. I was overweight some, but I'm morbidly obese now, thanks to the medications that just pack the pounds on. So for a while, I tried Lyrica, I tried Cymbalta. Neither one of those worked. I tried Neurontin, which is generic, is I can't think of it. Gabapentin. I tried gabapentin, and it works for some people, but it did not for me. I was extremely allergic to it. I broke out head to toe in a rash and was extremely dizzy. So imagine that on top of all your pain symptoms. That did not work. Um, so for a while, it was just regular pain meds, and that was about it for my treatment. Um, then several years later, I think 2013, 14, somewhere in there, Savella came on the market. And my doctor said, let's try this. It's different than it works in a different part of your brain, and it's a little different than Lyrica and Cymbalta. So let's try it. And at first, I did not do good with it. It was sick to my stomach for the first 2-3 weeks I couldn't hardly eat, which was good because I lost weight, but not good because I couldn't eat hardly anything. But once my system got used to it, I did wonderful on it. Um, so now that's my fibromyalgia med that I'm on. I'm on Savella, and I seem to do pretty good with it. And I take bupropion for depression, and I'm also on blood pressure medicines, which was just recently reduced. So I'm doing well with that. Um, but due to what I think it was being on years of being on hard medicines and being on ibuprofen type medicines like that affect your kidneys and stuff. I have chronic kidney disease now. That was just diagnosed last year, and I just saw a nephrologist for the first time this past week, and he said that I'm doing good, and I have chronic kidney disease, but it could be worse. I'm at stage 3, and which is my kidneys function about less than 50%. Right now, the last time I was tested, there was about 49%. Before that was 45%, so I kind of bounce back and forth between 45 and 49. But I also, in the last few months, saw about a month and a half ago, I saw a rheumatologist, a new one, and he was up to date on his fibromyalgia research and was showing me a lot of studies talking about exercise and fibromyalgia, and he said that I'm cleared to start exercising. So exercise and diet are kind of the two things that I focus on now, mainly for getting healthy and trying to be healthy despite having these chronic conditions. So I'll talk about those in the next video. This one's I want to wrap this up so it's not too long. I want you guys to be able to have bite-sized chunks to listen to, and in between whatever you're doing, whether you're raising kids or working or whatever. So that's it for now, and I hope you'll come back to Near Sanity's Edge again. Thank you. Bye.